Gunner is a great overall class, good survivability, good damage, and he's got some cards to help out the team. So, starting with his ultimate, he has a reflective shell that makes you invulnerable to damage. You can't take any damage. However, you can be spiked by the matriarch, and you can be chainsawed or grabbed by the bosses. Then his passive, he heals for half the heavy weapon damage dealt. So you could use the heavy weapons and then basically just heal up like all the time. And then combined with bait armor, every hit you take adds 10% damage reduction for 5 seconds up to 60. So then you're shooting a mulcher and then you're healing up. And then while you're healing up, you're taking less damage, less and less. And then you get that 60% damage reduction and your full health. So then a lot of things can shoot at you. When you have this 60% damage reduction, you can generally take a sniper shot. So I run Reflect Shredder, Serrated Edge, Bait Armor. This is my rotator slot right here, and then Concussive Explosives. So Reflect Shredder makes the reflected bullets do 55% bleed. So then it's mainly just to finish downed enemies, because they'll down themselves, but then you want just this card at level 1 so that they'll bleed out. It does benefit you having it higher on things like Scions or Guardians, or Kestrels or Swarmocks, because then they won't just kill themselves. They're a boss, so, or a Scion, so they have a lot of health. Serrated Edge, 40% torque bow bleed makes it to where you just shoot a drone with like even an unactive shot, and I think everything but like the elites in later waves will die. They'll bleed out to an unactive shot, and then active shots, drones will die forever. And then it only takes a few shots to kill Scions. And then you pair that with Concussive Explosives, so if they're within 15 meters, they'll get stunned. So you could play like right next to a boss and just keep spamming that torque bow, and then they'll just be stunned, they'll be bleeding, and you could just, have them sit there and take a lot of damage. Bait armor, like I said, just makes you super tanky, so it's really good. And then if you get shot at by a normal drone with a hammer burst, the hammer burst is a 6-round burst weapon. So then one burst from a drone, if they hit all their shots, will give you the full 60% DR. This is the rotator slot for my build. I like to use ultimate battery for my teammates to get a lot of cooldown. It says 0.35 seconds for each hit, but it's also based on damage, like every card that is like this, basically. So if you get shot by, say, a boom shot and you go down, that will give your teammates like a quarter of their ult, or maybe even more. So this card's really good for giving your teammates ultimate. You just got to make sure they're within that 10 meters of you. Mulcher Mastery, you could use a heavy weapon build. This is the torque bow build. Team Resist, good card. I find it kind of hard to actually like ever take notice of it, because a lot of the time, like when you ult, your teammates like don't take any damage, but it can come in very handy. And 6 seconds of 90 to 95% of damage reduction is very high. Like, there's a boom shot. You see a boom shot coming in the air, you hit your ult, and then none of your teammates will go down to it. You see a sniper laser, you hit your ult, they shoot at you, they'll die. They shoot at your teammate, they'll live, because you have 90 to 95% damage reduction on them. Grace Period, this is a decent card to have in your like rotator, because it's even on being picked up. So if you get picked up from being down, you'll get 5 seconds at level 6 of being just damage immune, which is pretty good. I think that this is pretty good in Escape, and it's alright in Horde. Heavy capacity, that's for the heavy weapon build. Pretty self-explanatory, just gives you more ammo. Heavy charger, this you want to pair with a mulcher, and if you have a mulcher, then you want to use a mulcher because it's heavy hits within 4 seconds of each other. So you want to get as many hits in that 4 seconds as possible. So if you're fighting like a Scion and you're fighting him for 4 seconds, then you get a bunch of cooldown, and just like one Scion can basically give you your ultimate with this card, which is pretty strong. Heavy deflect just gives your whole team around you 32% damage reduction to heavy weapons, which is pretty good. These type of cards are mainly for escape. Soul Survivor, with this card, Gunnar can solo some of the escapes just because he gets his ultimate back so fast because of this card. I wouldn't really recommend using this card in Horde, because it's not too often that you're the last one standing, because most of the time you'll have like one person down or something, but you definitely can use this card just in case. Like if you play Gunnar all the time, then you can probably put this card on, and then on those occasions where your whole team is dead and it's just you, this could benefit you a lot. Blast shields just gives everyone around you 32% damage reduction, and you to explosives. Pretty good. I would say if your teammates have damage reduction, but so you have bait armor, so you're pretty much set. But if you want to use one of these cards, then that's also good too, in your rotator, so then you like don't die to explosives pretty much. Flash freeze, this card is really nice if you want to like support your team, because if there's a matriarch, you pull out a cryo cannon, she's just frozen instantly. And then you have heavy capacity, so then you have more ammo, so then you can freeze her more, so then you just do a bunch of freezing. It's pretty cool. Freeze resist, mainly an escape card, because in Horde you should be able to avoid the Ice Scions, unless it's a daily. If there's a daily where there's like freezing grenadiers, freezing snipers, or whatever, then freeze resist will save you from that, so then it is good in Horde on those dailies. But otherwise, probably an escape card. Grub magnet, you definitely can use this card. It does make whatever you hit go to you. So if you shoot an Imago, a Scion in the head, it'll be taunted towards you and it will shoot you. It will be aggroed onto you, it will ignore your teammates. Like if it's shooting at a teammate, you shoot it, it'll go straight to you. Heavy shell, this card is really good for Sentinels and Kestrels too, Buzzkill Scions, because also the Matriarch, because then her spike won't stab into you. Because with the standard ult, it will go through the reflective shell, and you need heavy shell for it. So heavy shell will reflect all the projectiles for 6 seconds, which I'm pretty sure 6 seconds is the standard ultimate time. Gunnar does have a perk that extends the ultimate duration. Phoenix armor, never use this card. This card's just garbage. There's no use for it, especially when grace period exists, which is 5 seconds of immunity. This gives you 30% stim. 30% stim is, a third of stim basically, and like base stim is pretty trash, so this is garbage. Like the 5 seconds of immunity is way better. Like if you were to argue you want Phoenix armor so that like you go down, you get picked up, and then you don't get one shot by a sniper. Yeah, but 5 seconds of immunity, it's just way better. Practice every day. This is actually a pretty cool card because you reload 30% faster, and then so that you can actually hit your actives, it has a 60% larger active reload window, so then you reload a lot faster, and then you can actually hit it. And that's really good with the torque bow build, because you can just spam out your torque bows. And then whenever you're in the ultimate, it will bypass your reload, and you can just keep shooting, which is decent with the torque bow. It's not the greatest, and these shots are unactive, but you can still reload with the ultimate up on this card. So you can still hit your active if you want to. You could like active and then just shoot to unactive shots and then active again, and then your ultimate's probably out. Tank synergy, I don't really think that this card is very good. I mean, you could do like some sort of ridiculous like escape thing, I guess, where you have this card for 30% damage reduction near pilot, and then you pair it with like blast shield and heavy deflect, and then you have on bait armor, and then pilot has rear armor, which I'll show really quickly, which gives 60% damage reduction from damage taken from the back. So like you could do some weird thing there maybe, but in general use, no. I wouldn't use this card. And then I'll actually show the heavy build. So I would still have Reflect Shredder, and then you obviously want Mulcher Mastery because the Mulcher is really good. Bait armor so you don't die. Heavy capacity, so then you have more heavy ammo. Then heavy charger to get your ultimate back fast. So then with this, you got the bleed on your ult, you get the Mulcher Mastery for more Mulcher damage, you got the DR for survivability, you got the heavy capacity for more ammo, so then you can keep your Mulcher up, and then heavy charger, so then you can just get your ult back quick. So then whatever you can't tank from bait armor, you just hit your ult on, and then it'll shoot you and die. So Gunner has 4 perks, you know, everyone does. There's ultimate duration, chain gun ammo regen, which is only ammo regen for the Mulcher and the tri-shot. Then he has damage and health. If you're going for the torque bow build, I recommend you just do your cooldown, or not cooldown, ultimate duration, and then if you're doing the chain gun with a Mulcher or tri-shot, you obviously want to either get a level 4 locker to cycle heavy weapons, or you could perk up and get the chain gun ammo regen. Chain gun ammo regen's, I would say, better than a locker, just because then you can move around and regenerate your ammo. You don't have to swap. So then it's really nice, especially when there's like instances where you can't go to your locker because an enemy is zoning you out. So then it's better to have the regen on you. Then definitely damage, because you want your ammo regen and damage with the chain gun build. With the torque bow, you don't really need damage. You don't need chain gun because you're not using a heavy weapon. Then you just want the duration. You could also go for some health and damage if you wanted to. If you perk up your health, you're really tanky. If you get level 10 health, you got 50% in extra health and 60% damage reduction. And then especially if you do that with the chain gun build, where you're healing for half the heavy weapon damage and you have more health, you have the DR, you'd be very strong. And that is Gunner.